Quinn Hughes, a really nice guy. Guess what? He's a great hockey player as well. And you said it, his name is going to be heard pretty early tonight in round number 1 here in Dallas. Nice enough to join us on set right here. Quinn, a couple of minutes ago, we watched a piece on you and your younger brothers, and we got a great laugh out of Luke's final answer
business.
there, saying all business at this point. What's this weekend like for you? Is it all business? Is it a celebration with your family? Do you get to take a step back and kind of take it all in and soak it up? What's this weekend like for you?
Well, I think yes and no. Yes, because I think everyone's a little uptight right now, and everyone's really excited to see where they're going and stuff like that. So I think people are a little serious in that aspect. But it should be a time where you kind of should enjoy yourself and be happy and look back on everything that everyone here has accomplished and spend time with their families and stuff like that and celebrate with those guys. So yes and no.
We see Jack and Luke right there. Does having those guys kind of around help maybe take the stress level down just a few notches for you?
Well, yeah, I'm really close with both of them. They're my best friends, so just having them here to support me and not only them, my parents and the rest of my family. So it's great having everyone there, and I'm really excited to get this show on the road.
Quinn, you just passed through here as we had the Tkachuk family.
Yeah.
And you know them extremely well. That's must be something to see him and see Brady and obviously Matthew being drafted a couple
Well,
years
it's very
ago.
special because I got to spend 2 years with them at the program. So, I got very close with those guys, and I was very fortunate to live with Walt, who I think had 1,000+ points in the NHL. Yeah. So, just soaking up everything I could from him, and then me and Brady got really close. So, obviously, I have a lot of respect for their family, and they're really close. And I kind of found Walt as a second parent. I mean, I moved away when I was 15 to live with him. So, I'm very close with them, and Brady's an unbelievable player and a great person. He should get picked real early tonight, and he deserves that.
That was evident when Walt called you Jerome when we were walking by.
Yeah.
Which, of course, we know is your middle name.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. On a serious note, let's talk about the World Championships. You went over there, acquitted yourself very nicely, couple assists in the 10 games. Tell me something, tell the fans out there something you learned by having that experience.
Yeah, well, it's hard to pinpoint one thing because, spending, a month with guys in the locker room, pro guys, like Kaner won 3 cups, Martinez won 2. You can't put a price on stuff like that. So, like I said, it's hard to pinpoint one thing, but
what do you need to work on coming out of that, in your opinion, in order to play at that level every night and be successful?
Yeah, well, for me, the biggest thing was I was on the power play, second power play, on my one-timer side, and I've never been there, so I never really got used to one-timing a puck when it's coming really, really hard across or something like that. So I'd say that's one thing I could work on.
Interesting.
A couple of things at the draft that you're going to go through, and one of the main things is interviews, and I'm sure you've done plenty of interviews. Everybody's always interested in what is asked in these interviews. What is something that totally caught you off guard in one of the questions possibly throughout the interviews that you were like, are you seriously asking me this question?
I'm actually pretty lucky. No one asked me anything that was too crazy, so I've heard some pretty funny stories, though, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I think just the regulars, just telling them what type of person you are and what type of player you are and stuff like that. So I think the biggest thing is they just want to get to know you. They watch you the whole year, and they just want to see what drives you and what type of person you are. So like I said, nothing crazy, but I've heard some pretty funny stories.
We always hear about how long it takes to get to this point, that this isn't the end of the journey. The journey for you starts right now. What have you learned from some of those guys that you mentioned over at the Worlds, being in that dressing room, about what it takes starting tomorrow for you to play in the NHL?
Well, I think I saw something that Brett Burns posted on Instagram today, and it said, the young guys push the older guys to stay in the league and, keep getting better every summer. So if they're doing that, and a guy like Brett Burns, who's an NHL All-Star, I mean, there's tons of work for everyone here. So, I think the draft is great. It's a great accomplishment, but, it doesn't change you. It's not like you get drafted in a position, you're like, oh, okay, now I've done something big, and this is who I am. It's a nice accomplishment, but there's still a lot of work to be done, and I think a lot of people recognize that. So, like I said, it's funny to see a guy like Brett Burns who's so accomplished in the NHL, and he's still pushing every summer.
A lot of analysts have pegged the Detroit Red Wings as a team that You're right in their backyard. Have you put any thought into teams, or have you actually tried your best to alter any expectations? Kind of fearing the worst, hoping for the best, whatever situation happens?
For me, I think the biggest thing I've been doing is just kind of not thinking too much about, I know that's what everyone says, but that's the truth. I think you never know. Draft day is unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. So, you know, I think wherever I go, I'm going to be excited. And, you know, if it's Detroit, great. And if it's somewhere else, that's great too. So, you know, I'm excited to see what happens. But like I said, draft day is unpredictable. You don't really know what's going to happen.
It's all business.
Like your brother said, right?
All right, the big question. I have one last big question.
Oh, the hard-hitting one at the end.
One big question.
Oh, yeah.
So the draft goes good. You get selected 5th by the Arizona Coyotes. Do you go to Michigan, back to Michigan next year, or do you go to Arizona?
Oh, come on, you're putting me on the hot seat.
Exactly.
Here,
That's
at
what
the end.
we would.
Yeah, you did.
What are your thoughts? If you could choose, and we'll assume it's not your choice right now,
well,
but if you could.
You know, here's what I'll tell you. I think that my goal is to play in the NHL as fast as possible. I think that's everyone's dream here. That's definitely my dream, is to play in the NHL. So if I can do that and I have that opportunity, then, you know, I'll be thrilled. And if I don't have that opportunity, then, you know, that's great too. I think Michigan is a great spot for me. We're going to be pretty good next year. The coaching staff is unbelievable, and my teammates are awesome. So it's kind of a win-win for me. So, you know, I'm just going to sit in my seat and see what happens, and then I'll just be bossed around.
Well said.
That's a good answer.
Well said. We put you next to Barbara Walters down there with the hard-hitting questions. Quinn, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy everything that comes your way. I look forward to seeing you down the road in the
Appreciate
NHL. Quinn Hughes right there.